I'm a monk in ISKCON Sydney Temple in North Sydney. This month is very special. It is said in the scriptures that of all the plants, there is one special plant which is very dear, very close to Krishna. Anyone would like to take a guess? What's the name of the plant? Basil? Oh yes, you're right. What's your name? Mehul. Wonderful. Mehul says Basil, Tulsi. Very good. Of all the rivers, Krishna says there is one river which is very close to him. Take a guess again. Okay, close. Ganga. Ganga, Yamuna, both. Of all devotees of Krishna, one is considered to be greatest. Who is the greatest devotee of Krishna?
Mirabai.
Okay, Mirabai. Any other names that comes to your mind?
Radha, I don't know.
Okay, Radha.
Radha is not you. Radha is me.
Radha is also considered devotee. I'm coming to that. You stole the thunder already. Of all the gopis, Radharani, you're right. But Bhagavata Puran says of all the devotees of Krishna, one is considered to be the topmost. It's given Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. Who is Shambhu? Shivji is the topmost devotee of Krishna. It's given, it's in Bhagavata Puran. Like that. Of all the months in a whole year, 1 month is very dear to Krishna. Which one is it? Okay, Purushottam Mas comes only once every 3 years.
Sorry, this is Kartik.
Kartik Mas, yes. What's your name, Mataji? Rita. So wonderful, Kartik Mas or Damodar Mas. Okay, so this month is very special. Whatever spiritual activity that we do in this month, we get 1000 times the benefit. Srila Prabhupada would say this month is like the special sale month. Normally you have, if you go to a shop, they have certain time during the year like Christmas, Easter, Diwali, when you will get the best quality stuff marked half price. I come from North Sydney. There is one shop there. When I came to Australia in 2003, I was in Adelaide. I moved to Sydney in 2006. Since that point, I was saying the banner says a closing down sale and the shop is not still closing yet. Special sale. So this month is like that. Normally any spiritual activity that we do, we get spiritual benefit, eternal benefit, something which cannot be taken away from us. But whatever that we do in this month, we get 1000 times the benefit. This is a good time to offer prayers, offer diya. I see a beautiful set of diya that's there. We'll give you an opportunity to offer. This is a good time to visit temple also. This is a good time to do some charity. Anything which you think is actually pious, auspicious, this is a good month to do because it's going to give you 1000 times the benefit. And if you can't do it this year, don't worry, it comes every year. You can do it even next year. So today what we are going to do is, we'll do some more Kirtan. Now before we get started, why should we do Kirtan? Normally, if we think about ourselves, how many senses do we have? Yes, Megul? 5, good. What are they?
Hear,
Mm-hmm.
taste,
Mm-hmm.
sense,
Smell.
Smell? Yes?
Touch.
feel,
Feeling is touch and
Eyes.
seeing. Wonderful. So we have 5 senses, gross senses. Bhagavad Gita teaches us further and it speaks about subtle sense as well. Anyone would like to take a guess? What are the subtle senses? Subtle senses means something which you cannot see, but you can still feel.
God,
My goodness. You know what? We should swap our roles. Yes? God? Anything else? How do you feel God? How do you feel the presence of God? What is it?
Like a different aura.
Yes? What part of you feels that?
Eternal soul.
Good. As usual, you stole the thunder. Soul comes at the deepest level. That's like the topmost. But there is 3 more levels between our gross body and the soul. Spiritual level. So this is gross senses. Subtle sense starts with mind. We say mental. Okay, mental strength, mental ability. So that's the mind. Deeper than the mind, intellect is given. Sometimes we use the word intelligence. In normal contemporary colloquial sense, we say brains, he or she has got good brains. But what we call as brains in our contemporary term is intellect, buddhi. Okay, whereas mind is mana. Okay, so in Shastras, each one of these subtle elements has actually got a very special name. Whereas in general, we call everything as mind. Oh, I had a certain thought. Let me think, let me process with my mind. But if you go with Bhagavad Gita, Krishna goes very precisely and he says, what is mind, what is intelligence? And beyond intelligence also, there is one aspect of us known as ego, which we usually use in a negative sense. But actually there is something called false ego. What we say in negative sense is known as false ego. But there is a real ego. False ego, we say ahankar. Again, that word is used in a negative connotation. Somebody is ahankara means very proud, very, puffed up. Whereas in spiritual sense, ahankara has its positive aspect as well.
Is it self-respect?
Okay, true self basically. So that is known as ahankara, which is the true ego. Okay, so these are there is gross sense and then we have subtle sense. And then deepest is where we have soul. That's the person that we are. So when we lead through this life, during this life, each one of these senses, they receive information, they process information. Each one of these senses have got their own food. Can you give me an example of what do you think is the food for the sense of sight?
Good view.
Good view. People pay so much. I come from South India. There is a place called Kanyakumari. And it's very famous for sunset. People travel like 300 kilometers just to watch sunset. And including me. So, and you sit there, watch, and then slowly you will see the twilight of the early morning sun, the eastern horizon comes up. And then before you blink, it's already up there. And that's it. Your 300 kilometers, effort is wasted. And then you'll go to a sky, or you go for a view for stargazing, for example, or you go to a mountain, views. You watch something, that sense of eyes. Hearing?
Good. Thought.
Any example of something which will give you...
Like what you are telling.
Yes, I'm flattered. Music, rock songs, movie songs. So that is sense of hearing. Smelling?
Flowers, fragrance.
Fragrance.
Flower.
Flowers, fragrance. When you are hungry, food. Everything. Sense of eyes. Sense of hearing, sense of smelling. For tongue, tasting. Oh, I don't need to ask that. We have a lot of food for that. Okay. And sense of touch.
Air.
Air. Who said that? Wonderful. What's your name, Mataji? Aarti. Aarti. Okay, good. So, sense of touch is like air. Anything else? Like a nice soft cushion.
Like something that feels so satisfying when you touch it.
Yes, like beach sand, like that. Fantastic. Like that. Okay, so we have sense of touch. Let's go a bit more further. What do you think is the food for mind? Yes, you. What's your name?
Simran.
Simran.
Book, food reading, I don't know.
Okay.
Knowledge.
Knowledge. Wonderful, Simran. Okay, we have thoughts normally. Okay, mind, you want it to be peaceful. Yes?
Like happy things.
Yes. Happy things, happy thoughts, positive things, like that. Mind. They are food for mind. Give me example for food for intellect.
No.
Pravachan, Ved.
Ved. Channel 7 News. Seriously. Sydney Morning Herald website, newspaper, all of that, social media, you understand. They are all, why are we doing? We do all of this, taking it for granted, but actually they are foods for each one of these senses. Understand? Likewise, what is the food for ego? We have a certain sense of pride, right? Like, I'm I'm a Sanatani, for example, like I'm a Hindu, or I'm an Australian, I'm an Indian, I support, I don't know, Parramatta Eels, you know. So you have a certain sense of identity, understand, that also gives you pleasure. So you can see each one of these senses, which is us, or something which is helping us. Each one of them, they have food, they have a certain fuel that gets us going. Understand? Like that we go deeper. First we spoke about gross, then you have subtle, and now you go deepest part of ourselves, which is our true self. What is it? Our Anma, soul. What is the food for soul? What's your name? Divanshi. What do you think is the soul? Aarti has already told you. Meditation, holy name, which is what we are going to sing. Or you go to temple, you see Krishna, even though each one of these senses actually take in the information, or they say, actually the real enjoyer is the soul. Understand? Or you read Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge, everything. Now, unless we give food for the soul, normally if you see in general, how many people do you think? I think Sydney population used to be like 4.5 million, maybe a little bit more now. Australian population is like what, 27, 28 million now? How many people do you think really know about each one of these senses? Forget about the food for them. Very few. A very, very handful of people. So normally people think if I actually have a good food, then I can be happy. Normally we say somebody who has made it very rich, richest person, they are very successful in life. Why? Because they are very, if you really analyze it, we'll understand, because they are very, very successful in providing food for all the gross senses. Correct? They'll have a very waterfront view, you know, big mansion. They can actually have as many food as they actually like. I remember when Taylor Swift came early this year, the mansion, penthouse mansion where she was, they were saying for one day that was costing something like $25,000. And she can order food 24/7, anything. But then they also put in the news that she actually went out for a restaurant and like, you know, took some food and like came back. So somebody who is really rich, or you take Elon Musk, or you take Mukesh Ambani, very rich people, normally we consider them rich because we think, wow, they have unlimited facilities to feed food for each one of these different senses. But even whether somebody is very rich or somebody is very, very poor, unless they offer food at each one of these different levels, including the soul, one cannot be fully happy. That's why you come across sometimes even rich people, you know, they'll say, I'm rich, I have all of this, but still there is a certain feeling of emptiness that's within me. How many of you have heard that, or how many of you have come across that? Movies also you might have come across. These days with the way inflation is going, nobody would say I have enough money anyway. But you will see that people coming across, or even somebody who is like very, very super successful, according to, you know, social media, they will commit suicide, for example, you will come across. And the reason why people find happiness being evasive is because they figured out that they need to give food for each one of these gross senses. They also figured out that they need to give food for subtle sense as well. But none of this is us. Okay, I'm not this eyes, I'm not this body, I'm not this nose, I'm not this ears, none of this is me. I'm also not my mind, not my intellect, not my ego. They are all different faculties I use to gather information, to process information. But the real person that I am is the soul, okay, which is known as Atma or Anma. Unless we give food for this Atma, we are not gonna be feeling happy. There will always be a certain vacuum that's within our heart. So this process of bhakti yoga or spirituality that we do is aimed at providing that food for our soul. And that we can do in terms of singing the holy name of the Lord. We can remember God, we can see God, we can take prasadam. That's also is, on one level it is nourishing our body, but most importantly it nourishes our soul as well. Like that, there are different ways how we can connect with our deeper self. Okay, so with that understanding, let us feed our soul. So in Kirtana, the way how it works is, it goes with call and response. So when I sing, you hear, you can also clap. And when you sing, I'll be hearing. And if I increase the tempo, you also need to. Exactly. Okay, so that's what we are going to do now. Okay, so initially we saw Vrinda leading a beautiful kirtan. Now, my kirtan won't be beautiful, but it's not a musical performance. Okay, it's a collective offering for Radha Gopinath. That's a disclaimer. So, it's not about who can sing better. It's about who can actually connect deep with their self and make this offering, collective offering to Krishna together. That's all. Okay, that's why everyone is a winner here. C-scale doesn't work. Right in the middle. Hare Krishna. How many of you know the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? You know it? You know it? Okay, can one of you say it fully?
Hare Rama, Hare Krishna.
Yes. Okay, anyone knows the mantra fully? Yes. Bhavana Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Wonderful. Okay, so it's a very simple mantra. It has got only 3 words: Hare, Krishna, and Rama. Krishna, we know who he is. Rama, we know who he is. Who is Hare? H-A-R-E. Sounds very modern name, right? It's a Vedic name. Hare represents Srimati Radharani. Okay, so Hare here refers to Radharani. The literal meaning of the word Hare means the spiritual energy. She is the Shakti, but spiritual Shakti of Krishna. Okay, so that's the name, and Hare here refers to Srimati Radharani. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Well done. You can give yourself a good round of applause.